Hello, welcome to The Wandering Drew. I am Drew. On today's episode, I'm going to continue my discussion on one of the most asked about questions whenever I tell people I'm going camping, hiking, or backpacking in the woods. Other than taking a firearm out in the woods when I go camping or hiking, everybody always asks the question of how do you go to the bathroom or where do you go to the bathroom? So obviously this is a concern of a lot of people, or a fear or concern that they have if they were going to go out in the woods. And I think for some people, this may stop them or limit them in going out in the woods and doing longer trips because there's no bathroom or restroom available. So I'm hoping today to get rid of that fear or phobia, and that you'll have the knowledge and the tools and the confidence to go out and do number 2 in the woods. Okay? So we're going to be discussing poop. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The Wandering Drew. And as I said, I'm Drew. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you taking time out. Hopefully, after this episode, you'll feel comfortable about going out in the woods and doing number 2, or poop. I'm going to title this episode Call of Duty. And I want to thank, before I go any further, my lovely wife, Mrs. Drew, for getting me the appropriate, very appropriate t-shirt. Let me get out the light so you can see it for this episode. Sorry, the sun's really bright here, and I'm trying to avoid getting a sunburn. But you can see, very appropriate shirt. I've been holding on to this for several months, waiting to do this video, and the time has finally come for us to answer the call of duty. And we're going to go out in the woods, and I'm going to show you the knowledge and skills and tools that you need in order to go poop in the woods. And this is going to be the same for men and women because we basically have the same plumbing when it comes to going poop. If you haven't, go back and watch episode number 1. Doing number 1 in the woods, because I discuss some of the things you're looking for, and nothing has changed when we're doing poop as opposed to pee in the sense of the location we're looking for, so that you can do your business without being disturbed. But you also want to pick an area that's safe for both nature as well. So you don't want to like poop into a river. You want to pick a place that's away from water, away from a campsite, because people don't want to smell or see or come upon your poop. Discussed in last week's episode the kit that you should already have. You should have a bathroom kit and the items that are in there. So please go back and watch that, because I'm not going to cover it again because I'm trying to save time in the videos and keep them a little shorter. But obviously you should have your kit and everything you need all together. So when I need to go to the bathroom, as you can see, I got my pack. My pack is actually, 20, 30 feet away from me. It could even be on the trail. You might leave it at the trail so your friends, if you're in the lead, when they walk up, they'll see your pack and they'll figure out that you probably dropped your pack and you went off in the woods and you're probably going to the bathroom. And they'll either stand by and wait for you, or they'll keep walking knowing that they're ahead of you now and not behind you. So all day long, they don't think they have to catch up to you. They know that they've passed you. That's if you don't walk together in a group. So I'm going to have my kit. So the first thing we're going to do is pick a site. And the site location is similar to what I described last week. I'm looking for a place that offers me a little privacy and protection from viewing, but I don't have to go bushwhacking and cut through bushes and vines and everything to find a secluded spot. Do the best you can if there's not much to work with. If you're on a trail that does not offer the opportunity to go off trail and find the location that's 200 feet away from the trail, you might just have to pick a widening in the trail and do the best you can. Either way, you're going to want to find a place that you can dig a hole to make a cat hole. And as I described last week, a cat hole is a small hole in the ground, 6 to 8 inches deep, 4 to 6 inches wide, that we're going to poop into. And this means you have to have soil or dirt that you can dig into. If it's rock, obviously this is not going to work. So pick your site carefully. I'm now going to go pick a spot and dig a hole, a cat hole, to show you what you need to do and how to do it. So this looks like a good spot. I'm going to go poop here. I have my kit. Once again, this is dirt or sand or something I can dig into and make a cat hole. Realize that there are some areas, once again, that this will not be possible. There are also areas that are deemed sensitive. In other words, even though you could possibly leave poop there and dig a hole, whatever, they're not allowing you to do that by regulation. And these may be areas that you are expected to pack out your poop. Yes, I said that, pack out your poop. They expect you to take your poop, put it in some sort of bag, and they do make special bags for this purpose, and take it with you until you find the garbage, or if they have special receptacles for that, throw it in there. Don't throw it with the regular garbage if they have a receptacle for human waste. But realize that there are places, and that's why it's important to do your research before you go on a trip to know what the rules are and what's expected of you. So just realize on these trails, depending on how long your trip is, you may be carrying your poop several days. That does sound disgusting, doesn't it? But in some places, that's what you need to do in order to enjoy them and to keep them beautiful for other people to enjoy them as well. So once again, I picked my site. I didn't need to go off in the woods bushwhacking. I just needed a little privacy. I'm off the trail. The trailer is back over there. You can see it in the distance. I'm 200 feet away from it. I have my privacy. If I was hiking with other people, they'd be back there waiting. They're not going to view me or watch me or be able to see me. The first thing I'm going to do is get my kit open and take out my trowel. And I'm going to use this to dig a hole 6 to 8 inches deep, 4 to 6 inches wide. Basically, it'll look like the bottom of a toilet bowl. That's what your goal is, to make the thing like the throat or the neck of a toilet bowl for you to put your poop in. And if you do that, you'll be fine. Do realize that sometimes there's roots in the ground. It makes it a little hard. If they're not very thick, you can dig around them. If they are, just move over a couple inches and pick a different spot. If you already started your hole, just widen it and stop digging where the root is. These things have little notches in them. These notches are supposedly to help cut through, if you need to, small little roots. If you have a pocket knife, you can do the same, or in some places you don't even need to worry about it. You should be able to dig the hole. One thing I want to mention before you dig your hole and picking your site is know what type of position or squat you're going to get into in order to pick your location. Last week when peeing, I demonstrated a couple of positions using a tree. And I'm going to do that again, but realize that if you're going to use those positions, you need to be able to dig your hole by that tree that you're going to squat by. So you wouldn't be doing this in the open, you would be doing it next to the tree. Usually, and most of the time, you're unable to dig a hole at the base of a tree because the tree trunk flares out, or there are a lot of roots there. So just realize that before you pick. You may have to hunt around for a tree and a location that fits your needs. If you're going to do another position that I have later hanging by a tree, realize you're going to make your hole right there. And there's a little bit of flexibility in this in case you miss or make a mistake, but that's not the end of the world, and I'm going to go over that as well. But realize that how you're going to squat may decide where you dig your hole. So watch this whole video through and then decide what works for you. Or watch last week's video where I show a couple of positions, and I'm going to do the same this week and cover them as it relates to pooping. Okay, so now let me dig my hole. Okay, so I've picked my spot. I'm going to basically dig my hole here. So what I like to do is basically, I start digging a round hole, and I usually just wedge this in. And there are different ways. You can just start scooping soil out. But what I'm doing is I'm pushing down, I'm taking like a plug almost. So I'm also, the reason why I'm rocking it up and back is, what I'm doing is I'm cutting little roots that might be in the ground to stop me. By doing this, I can feel them, and occasionally there might be something bigger here. And if that is, I'll just dig around it. I just have to be able to do my hole. So now, this is what works for me, and I want to save this soil. All this soil that I'm taking out, and you don't have to use two hands, I just find it easier. There's a nice big root over here, so I'm not going to be able to dig my hole. And that's the chance you run sometimes. You can't see what's in the ground. So I'm just going to have to widen my hole here. And as you can see, I'm taking my soil and I'm saving it. Okay, and there's a big root over here. So just what I said before, I'm gonna widen my hole out on one side and stop digging on this side because of the root. And it's pretty thick, so I'm not gonna be able to cut through it with just my trowel. One of the downsides to something this small and light is that, you know, it's not as easy to grab a grip on it. You know, it doesn't have a round handle that makes it quite easy to dig with, you know, and get support. So that's the downside. So, you know, you just gotta, but most of the time you're not gonna need to really power down and dig through. I have my dirt piled up next to it so that when I'm finished, I'm going to be able to put that dirt back in there. And you can see there's a couple of roots in here that blocked me from digging wider. So this is not my best work, as I say, but you know, it'll work for what I'm doing. Okay, I dug my hole. I piled up all the dirt from the cat hole in this side. So that's the only limitation I have to squatting over this hole, is because I have a pile of dirt that I generally do not want to put my foot into and tamp down. So other than that, it doesn't really matter which way I face or which way I go, as long as I put one foot on either side of the hole and squat down. And much like a bombardier, I'm going to put my backside directly over the hole so that when I let go of my payload, my poop goes right in the hole. That's the goal and the plan. If it doesn't work out that way, it's okay. Once again, don't do this on a slope, because if you miss, the poop's going to roll to the downhill side, which is usually where your foot is standing, and it'll get on your shoes. Not the end of the world, but it does smell bad, and it's funny, and some people, if they see it, will not forget about it. Other than that, there's really no limitations. Just know how you're going to squat down. Realize, once again, we're going to do the same thing we did before, or last week that I discussed for women going to the bathroom. You want to basically go over your hole. You're going to open up your pants. You're going to drop them to your knees, not to your ankles. If you drop your pants to your ankles, there's a good likelihood we're not only going to get in the dirt, but when you squat down, your pants are going to be in the way of the drop zone. And there's a very high probability that you will get poop on your own pants or shorts. And we don't want that either. That is bad. So here I am. My hole is right beneath me. I'm going to squat down. I do a deep squat. I don't have a problem with it. Some people do. I basically look down. Think of that as like your bomb sight. You can look through, make sure you're kind of lined up, and you can let your business go. If this is too hard for you, you know, you can stabilize yourself. If you had a trekking pole, you can use that. You can use a 3-point stance, 2-point stance to do your business. If this doesn't work out for you, you can always do a squat more like this, over the hole. The closer you are to the hole, the easier it gets for you to aim, but it's not a difficult challenge either way. Generally with pooping, I find it's better to be lower and aiming with that point down rather than doing something like this. It's obviously a little bit harder, but this is probably the best thing you can do. If, like I mentioned last week to some women, you find it hard or challenging to do this, consider taking one of your pant legs out or off, or even both of them off, so you can widen your stance and squat down, and it becomes a little easier, as I'll show you here. Okay, I can squat down quite deep and over the hole without any problem or issue in order for me to basically do my business. And I think this is really still a very comfortable thing, but my pants are out of the way because they're on my knee. There's no chance of me getting them fouled or any way with my own bodily fluids, one way or another. So then here I am, I'm squatting, I line myself up, I squat down, and problems away. Oh, look at that. In the hole. Great. So I'm done. I stand here, I poop, I'm done. What do I do next? Well, I have my bag and everything ready. That's why you put everything away. I take my toilet paper out. Whatever I think I need. Use your toilet paper. You wipe. It goes directly into the hole. I'm done with it. Everything goes into the hole, and I'm going to close it back up. And I'll show that in a second. So let me do it from a different angle. I'm going to do it sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Once again, here I am squatting. I'm over my hole, right? Goes in the hole. I wipe. I put my stuff in the hole. I step up. You don't have to continue to squat to wipe yourself or to cover up the hole. If you're having trouble squatting your legs or you're tiring, stand up. You're done. The hard part is over with now. Okay? If, for instance, you miss, let's say your poop doesn't get in there. Let's say it landed outside. Hope you can all see that. If your poop didn't make it in the hole, you have a couple options. You can take a stick or something, but you can use your trowel. Here I'm using a little bit of dirt so I don't get my trowel dirty. And I can move the poop into the hole. Once I'm done though, and I've cleaned myself off and all my toilet paper is in there, all I'm going to do is basically cover this back up. One of the things I like to do is tamp it down so that it's flat and flush. If you want to, you can spread some brush over here. No one will even know I was here. A very common practice, and one that I believe you should be doing, is to take a stick and stick it in where you pooped. And leave it sticking up. And this is a sign to other hikers that someone has dug here and pooped here. If I'm walking around a campsite looking for a place to poop and I see a stick sticking up like this, I'm not going to dig there. This does not occur in nature. Sticks don't grow like this, straight up like that. A tree maybe, but not a stick. So I will know that that means someone has dug here and pooped here, and I will not dig there. I will pick somewhere else. Now I don't know if that was a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, but I'm not going to take the chance. And generally, after some time, by the time the poop has probably biodegraded and is totally processed by bacteria and other things and has gone back to the environment, that stick will most likely fall over through normal, rain, wind, storms, things like that, animals going by, that it won't be an issue. Okay, once I'm done with that, that's when I'm going to take either my soap or my hand sanitizer, and I'm going to wash my hands. And then I'm going to clean off my materials. So I'm going to get my, there we go with the hand sanitizer. I'm going to get my trowel ready for the next use. Okay? If I used something like a wipe, that is going to go into a plastic bag and come out with me. I'm going to pack that out. Other than that, that's it. That's all you need to worry about doing. Oh no, I knew I shouldn't have had that double serving of mashed potatoes yesterday. Okay, I mentioned earlier that you can use a tree if you're having difficulty squatting. And I did demonstrate this last week for women when they're going to pee in the woods. And this is how you would do it with poop. It's the same thing. You're going to find a tree that you can lean against. It's going to have to be one that you're going to have to be able to dig a hole underneath, because you need to dig a cat hole for your poop to go into. Obviously, I would pick the low side of the tree or the downslope side to go into. I wouldn't pick the upside. So, or whatever's available. Obviously, there's other trees around. This is accessible to me. I would dig my cat hole right here if I'm able to. If you're not able to because of roots or the tree trunk itself, then you're going to have to shop around for another tree. Obviously, what I just did before, the basic method of squatting over a hole, is going to be good for 90-something% of the people. A couple of people might prefer this, and this is how you're going to do it. You're going to basically open your pants. I've already dug my cat hole. I'm going to drop my pants once again. Now, if you go to your ankles here, it won't be the end of the world, but I don't want to do that. It's a bad habit, and I want to keep them on my knees so they don't get dirty. You're going to lean behind me. I can sit, and if you want, you can squat into it, but your weight is being borne by the tree primarily, And now you can poop and go to the bathroom. And bombs away. Drop your poop. The same thing can be done facing the tree, what I call the tree hugger. So, but instead of being tight, you're going to back up a little bit. And you have some variation in this too, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to squat down and use the tree to hold me. The hole would be underneath me. You can get as close as you need to, or as far enough away to lean in or squat back and aim over the hole. And you can do that as well. The same thing can be done using a tree limb above you to hold yourself. Okay, so I'm back here at my tree that I'm going to use to support myself. If I'm having trouble squatting or I don't like any of the positions, this is another option you can use. It's using an overhead tree or a branch to support yourself. This branch will suffice. It's the best I could find on, obviously I was walking, I saw it, and I want to use it. I would dig my cat hole underneath. I would get underneath it. I would do the same thing I've done all the time, lower my pants to my knees. I'm going to position myself over my cat hole, and I'm going to lean on this. I'm going to hold myself up with my arms as I squat back and use this tree to hold myself. Do my business, clean up, cover the hole back up, sanitize my hands, and I'm on my way. So these are all options. Any one of these can be used by making it simpler, as I described before, with taking either one leg off the shorts or the pants, or possibly taking the whole pair of shorts or pants off. It does take a little longer, but it does improve your chances of success and comfort while doing it. The last thing you want to do is, after you sanitize your hands, put your kit back together. Put everything back in the kit so that it's ready to go next time. If you say I'll do it later, you're going to forget or not do it. And then when nature calls, when the call of duty comes and you go running off in the woods, you're going to find either your stuff is not in order, maybe you left something out, maybe you dropped something, maybe you're low on something, and that's not the time when you need it to find out you don't have it. So I like to put it back now. It's already out. It's very simple to put back in and organize it. And I would suggest that you do that as you're putting it away. If you pack up neatly, then when you unpack it, when you need it and you're using it, and maybe you're in a compromising position, squatting down somewhere, and you reach over to grab that, it's going to be there for you when you need it. Pick a good site, and it sets you up to succeed. Try to avoid a slope if you can. It's very hard to hold yourself on a slope. If you are going to use a slope, don't try to go across the slope. Like this is a slope. It's harder to hold yourself squatting on a slope when one foot is higher than the other than it is with both feet on the same level. Even if I had to do a slope, if I was going to go on a slope, I would face my back end down the slope, my front end forward the slope. So this is slightly a slope. It's not real severe, but just to demonstrate, I would squat down here. So this way, if I miss or something happens and my poop goes down, it's going to roll away from me. It's not going to roll into my feet or in front of me. Okay. Also, if I feel like I'm going to fall, I can just lean forward a little bit more if the slope's really severe or I just don't feel comfortable, and I'm not going to get myself dirty if I go down. If I did it on a slope, you don't know where that poop, if you miss, where it's going to roll to or go to. And if you're peeing, the same thing. It's going to go to your foot most likely because that's right below where you're peeing. So keep the back end downhill where all your business comes out and let it rip, and you should be fine. Use something for support. You can use your trekking pole. You can use a tree, whatever you need. Even in this position, a trekking pole could help you out by holding yourself up here. It's possible. I said, don't worry if you miss. If you miss, just use either a stick or your trowel to push the poop into the hole and cover it up as usual. It's not a big deal. If you are using wipes, if you decide to use wipes, and a lot of people do, either to clean up at night or to clean themselves down there to make sure their hygiene is important to them, then do not put that in the cat hole. That goes in a bag and you pack it out with you. They are not biodegradable, despite what the company may claim. It's better to err on the side of caution and take it with you. And it's very, very common. Most people stop, they go to the bathroom. What is the first thing to do after? Take a snack or a drink. Your hands are dirty. You just touched some of the dirtiest places on your body, full of sweat, dirt, grime, and bacteria and feces. Even if you didn't touch yourself and you're very clean about yourself and wiping and everything, it's just good hygienical practice, especially if you're going to be going to get a snack. Make sure nothing fell out of your pockets while you were squatting, and congratulations, you just pooped in the woods. And you can be proud of your accomplishment. Just like when you were a kid trying to potty train. You're going to get a gold star. try to resist taking pictures of your first poop. Maybe a selfie. I don't know. Maybe you do want to capture the moment. You can put it up on your fridge at home if you don't want to post it on social media. Some friends might not understand. I hope that with this episode and the last one, you feel confident about going in the woods and either peeing or pooping. Don't let these worries or fears or concerns hold you back from doing longer trails. There's a bathroom everywhere in the woods if you look for it and are willing to use it. You don't need to go to trails where there's facilities. This opens up a world of possibilities to you to hike. I hope this helps you and you got some enjoyment out of it as well. So if you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing to the channel. Please leave a comment below. Feel free to give me a like or a thumbs up. I'd like to hear some funny stories or some trail names that have resulted out of a bathroom experience. I think that would be really good. Additionally, tell a friend or a fellow hiker about the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me and to watch this video. I hope you're all staying safe. Till we meet again. Oh my God, I should have had that second serving of ramen noodles last night.